It started as an ordinary school day, 9 periods, a quiz, and plans to meet a friend in the basement bathroom. But when the lights went out and the lockdown began, everything changed. The silence turned heavy, footsteps echoed, and someone was out there, breathing, waiting, hunting. What began as boredom became a nightmare no one was ready for. From a dark basement, to a van behind a school, to a hotel room hiding something in the closet. These are the moments you never forget. I was 16 when the chamber finally lived up to its name. That's what we called the basement of Ridgeview High, 2 classrooms and a bathroom carved under 3 full floors of normal school life. No windows, no loudspeakers, no announcements, just buzzing lights, peeling paint, and the feeling that if something bad happened upstairs, we'd be the last to know. 5th period was lunch, 6th was astronomy in the chamber. That day, we had a quiz. I finished early, like always, and slipped my phone from my pocket as I stepped into the little hallway. I texted my friend JJ, who was in the other basement classroom. Bathroom. I'm bored, he wrote back. On my way. The chamber was strangely quiet, without doors opening and closing. I pushed into the bathroom, flicked on the light, and leaned against the sink, scrolling. A minute later, JJ walked in, smirking like we'd gotten away with something. You finish already? He asked. Yeah, easy. You? I guessed half of it, he shrugged. Astronomy's just fancy guessing anyway. We were joking around when his phone buzzed again. He glanced at the screen and the smile vanished. Dude, they just texted. School's on lockdown, I laughed at first. Nah, drill, maybe. There was no announcement down here, he said. Our teachers don't know. No intercom, remember? The thought hit us at the same time. Nobody upstairs knew we weren't in our seats. We basically have the school to ourselves, JJ whispered. Come on, let's just peek upstairs. If we get caught, we say we never heard it. It was a dumb idea, I knew it, but it also sounded like a story we'd tell for years. We slipped out of the bathroom, walked to the stairwell, and pushed open the door to the main floor. All the hallway lights were off. Even during drills, they left the lights on. Now, the only glow came from the pale daylight leaking through the lobby doors at the far end of the corridor. Lockers and classroom doors were just black shapes. The silence was thick, as if the whole building was holding its breath. This feels wrong, I whispered. Who's that? JJ breathed. At first, I thought he was messing with me. Then I saw it too. Someone stepping out of the darkness at the far end of the hallway. A man walking slowly toward us. The closer he came, the stranger he looked. He wasn't a teacher. No badge, no tie, no sensible shoes. He wore layers of dirty, oversized clothes, like he'd been sleeping in them. His hair hung in greasy clumps around his face. Even from a distance, something about the way he moved made my stomach twist each step weirdly careful, like he was trying not to make noise. Okay. Nope, I muttered. We're going back. JJ didn't argue. We turned and hurried down the stairs, trying not to run. I could feel his eyes on our backs the whole way down, even when the stairwell door slammed behind us. Back in the chamber, both classroom doors were shut and their lights were off. The only sound was the hum of the hallway light. He saw us, JJ whispered. Bathroom, I said. We'll hide until it's over. We went back into the bathroom. This time I didn't turn on the lights. Darkness swallowed us instantly. We felt our way to the last stall, closed the door, and crouched on the floor. There was no vent noise, no traffic, Nothing, just our breathing and an occasional drip from the sink. "Think it's a drill?" JJ whispered. "If it is, it's messed up," I whispered back. We went quiet. A few seconds later, the bathroom door opened. Light spilled in from the hallway for half a heartbeat, then vanished as the door clicked shut. Footsteps followed, slow, heavy, deliberate. They crossed the tile, moving past the sinks, coming toward the stalls. I clamped my hand over my mouth. The footsteps stopped right outside our stall. Whoever it was started breathing loudly, like they were out of breath or excited. The sound rattled through the thin metal, way too close. I could hear a faint, wet whistle on each inhale. "We have to crawl out through the other stalls," JJ whispered into my ear. He barely made a sound, but in that dead silence, his words might as well have been shouted. The breathing stopped. Then the stall door shook. The latch rattled as someone pushed, then harder. The thin metal flexed inward with a long screech. Dust rained from the hinges. "Go," I hissed. "Now." We dropped to our knees and slid under the divider into the next stall, tile cold against our arms. Behind us, the pounding grew louder, more frantic. The door clanged, metal shrieking. We slid under another divider, then another, while the first stall door groaned like it was being peeled off. We crawled out of the last stall by the entrance, scrambled to our feet, and yanked the bathroom door open. The hallway light hit my eyes so hard they watered. I glanced back as the room flooded with light. The first stall door was hanging crooked, half off its hinges. Through the gap, hunched in the corner, was the man from the hallway. His eyes were huge and unfocused, lips peeled into a warped smile. Something heavy and dark jutted from his jacket pocket. We sprinted down the basement hall and hammered on the door to JJ's classroom. It opened almost instantly. The teacher yanked us inside and locked it again. "Where were you?" he snapped in a harsh whisper. JJ talked so fast his words blurred together. Basement, bathroom, the man, the door. "He had a gun in his pocket," he added. I swear, I hadn't seen it, but looking at the terrified faces of the kids huddled in the corner, I didn't argue. Nobody laughed. Nobody joked. They just stared at us, like we dragged the nightmare into the room. A loud bang hit the classroom door. Everyone jumped. A girl squealed before slapping her hand over her mouth. The teacher flinched, but stood his ground, eyes locked on the narrow window. The man's face appeared there, pressed so close, his nose flattened against the glass. His breath fogged the window as he tried the locked handle, rattling it again and again. For a few seconds that seemed to stretch forever, he stared into the room, his gaze drifting slowly over each of us. Then he turned and walked away, vanishing from the window. No one moved. The hum of the ceiling light sounded like a roar. We stayed crammed in that corner for what felt like hours, the teacher occasionally whispering questions to us, shaking his head at our answers like he couldn't quite process any of it. Eventually, his phone buzzed. He listened, nodded, then told us to stand, line up, and walk silently up the stairs and out of the building. Outside, police cars crowded the parking lot. Teachers waved us toward the field across the street. Me and JJ told the cops everything, how he looked, how he moved, the sound of his breathing outside the stall. One officer patted my shoulder and said we did the right thing. They never told us if they caught him. The school installed cameras after that. Security got tighter. Teachers drilled lockdown rules until we could recite them in our sleep. But sometimes, When I wake up at night and the house is too quiet, I swear I can hear heavy breathing just outside my door, waiting for the lock to give in D. And every time, I remember the chamber and the man who, for a few minutes in the dark, had us exactly where he wanted us. Lockdowns are supposed to keep you safe, but safety isn't guaranteed when the danger is already inside. Sometimes the person you fear most isn't a stranger in the dark. It's the shadow standing right next to you. From that school basement to the quiet hotel room, one truth remains. Evil doesn't need a reason. It only needs opportunity. Remember, when the lights go out and silence fills the air, listen closely, because something or someone might already be breathing beside you.